to Robbie's kitchen. And before we deal with the main recipe, I'm going to teach you a very quick and easy pastry that you need for the main recipe. That's it, you're going to get 2 recipes in one today. Now, the pastry I'm on about is short crust pastry. And for this, what you're going to need is 8 ounces of shaved flour and basically 4 ounces of margarine. Or lard, or whatever fat you tend to use. Right. Now this, as you can probably guess, goes into your flour. And you've seen me rub this before, so that's what we're doing here, we're just rubbing, okay? Rubbing the flour, putting the flour together, so we get a breadcrumbs effect. There you have your breadcrumbs, as I explained to you before. Now to this you just add a bit of water. Not too much, just enough to bind. Get your own trusted friend, the wooden spoon, and you stir it together. As you can see, it took a while, but it's formed a nice ball of dough. Yeah? Okay. We'll get this out of the way for now because we're using that for the main recipe. And what we want to do is flour a board. Right, now what we do is we take this dough, which as I said, I showed you was quite easy to make, and you just put it into a nice bowl. And you want to flour your board, as I said earlier, and you want to flour your dough, and you also want to make sure your rolling pin is well floured. And then all you do, you roll your dough out. I'm only rolling out half of this today because half of this is going to go into the refrigerator. So I'll just get a knife and chop it in half. And as I said, make sure that's well covered. And you can pop that in the fridge. It's used on another day. Pop that in your fridge. You just need to check with the box which shelf she recommends. On the top shelf, right, there we go. And as I said, we'll be coming back to this other half later on. Oh, hello and welcome back. This is the main recipe we're going to do today. It's called Macaroon Pastries. Now, for this, we're going to need the half the short course pastry you saw me take earlier, about 4 ounces. You're going to need some jam. About 4 ounces of ground almonds. 1 ounce of flour. 5 ounces of sugar. And 2 egg whites. My wife is now going to show you how you get an egg white. See you in a bit. She'll take care of things.
Okay, some people have a fancy gadget that you can separate eggs with, but we will have to do this the old-fashioned way, which is quite easy once you know how. First, we break the egg. There we go. This lovely gooey stuff is the egg white. Now you need to do, just to make sure you've got all the egg. Yeah, it is to dump it into, but don't panic, don't panic. If that happens, do not panic. This is why you get the trusty spoon. And occasionally that happens, but don't panic. The more you panic, the less good. That was close, so we'll just leave it at that, okay? Look, that's how you're supposed to do it, is do it on one half of the shell to the other. And hopefully you don't get too much egg yolk in the egg white.
Interestingly enough, my wife and I have just had a bit of a discussion. You see, as I said, during this Lent period I am following everything according to this book here, which is the Good Housekeeping Cookery Compendium, printed in 1954. Now, as you can see for yourself, the recipe calls for 4 ounces of rich short crust. I've asked my wife to roll out the pastry for me, to save me some time. And even as thin as we can possibly get it, without breaking it, it doesn't seem a lot. So, I'm going to see what we can do. Right, so first of all, we need to line them we need to line the patty tins again. If you find a little pastry cutter to be on the safe side, I'm just going to as I said, get as many as we can out of this. I'll put these in the patty tins. I've just had thoughts. You've got leftover dough, haven't you?
Mm.
The 50s was shortly after the war, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it. I'm not entirely sure, I'd have to double check, but rationing may have still been in effect. And the rule of
54.
yeah, the rule of rationing was,
What were you doing then?
well, that and waste not want not. So there was no such thing as waste. So you would use every single bit of pastry.
Yeah.
So what they probably did is what I'm doing now, is they'd cut some out, screw it up, do it again.
Do them very close together as well.
Mm.
So there's not a gap between the pastry.
Okay, the ones are a bit thicker, but maybe that we didn't need to grease up the other two. By the way, viewers, if any of you do know when what year rationing ended in the UK, don't forget we do have a comment section below this video. So if we can find out the same year. Yeah, it's as I suspected, that's what they must have done back in the old days. Oh, we are looking 60 years ago.
I know it was 50 something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think my mum still remembers rationing.
Yeah, well, there you have it. But as I said, that book was written in 54. Let's do like our ancestors and waste one little bit. Right, that's that done. Let's jump in each. Now this stuff you can't buy in the stores because this is proper jam, homemade jam, which my wife made. Now talking about these patty tins reminds me, I was actually in a well-known store today with my mother, looking for an extra patty tin after yesterday's incident with the cherry buns. Yeah, you remember we ran out of space before we ran out of dough. Anyway, as I said, I was in this well-known store. I won't name it other than to say it began with the letter A. And there are only two tins available, patty tins available. One was the cheap and cheerful 75p one. The other one was their own made brand. Now the cheap and cheerful one, as I said, was 75p. Sorry about that brief interruption. Basically we got disturbed by an Oedipus. This is our other cat who keeps trying to make cameos in our films. Anyway, gave me a chance to sort out the jam into the rest of the cases. And as I was saying, with this patty tin, in the store I was in, they were selling this pastry kits, which were these. We'd just pre-greased in the hope that we had extra pastry, and this was 75p. Now, as you can see, good, durable. It'll last us a few good years, that one. 75p, which isn't too bad a price to pay. Now, if you want a more slightly, I don't know, special kind of tray, how much more would you expect to pay? £1 extra? £2 extra? Let's give it a push. Let's say about £3 extra. Because any of those amounts would be wrong guesses. Their own brand was £7. £7 for a tray. So you're just going to make cakes and make it out what you were. Anyway, let's return back to our recipe. Now we've already served the flour. To this we want to add our ground almonds that you saw earlier. And our sugar, which I've put down somewhere. Did you read any doubts that this is a real kitchen? Not everything ever goes according to plan here. Right. And that all goes nicely in there. Right. So we give that a mix. With our wooden spoon. By the way, if the camera just wobbled, that's my wife keeling over with laughter because I didn't know where the wooden spoon was, but it was staring me in the face. Cherry trees. Yeah, I thought you might be thinking of them right about now. Don't worry folks, that's a private joke between me and the missus, which I might share with you one day. Right. The next step. Let's get our eggs. The next step is to get our eggs. Give them a very quick whisk. until it changes colour ever so slightly. And you pour that into your mixture. And you just fold that in, which basically means picking up with a spoon and turning over. That's folding, isn't it? Oh, you see, I do know some things. As always, you'll end up with a nice big lump of mixture eventually. Seriously, you need muscles to do this. Okay, this has got me really puzzled. As you can see, all the cakes, all the macaroons are covered. That wouldn't be a problem. Except for the fact that, considering we were only supposed to use 4 ounces of short crust pastry, we've ended up with this amount of macaroon mixture left over. Okay, that's got me puzzled. Answers on postcode, please. We'll stick this in the fridge for now. And these go in the oven at gas mark 6. As per usual, I'll be throwing up the conversions later. I'll just pop these in the oven for now. And we'll leave them in there for about 20 minutes. So we'll see you in about 20 minutes from now. Okay, we put them in 20 minutes ago. Let's see how they look. Ooh, oh dear. Did I mention that sometimes the results aren't exactly what I expected? The recipe said 20 minutes. If you ask my advice, perhaps about 15 might have saved them. We'll let these cool down and then we'll see how they taste later. See you in a bit. You see, it's kind of annoying. I mean, if you ever want to know that the results you get here today are the real results from following the exact recipe, then I think today proves it. You won't get the best results at Robbie's Kitchen, but you'll get the real results. So if we check the original recipe, we were told to use 4 ounces of rich short crust, which we very quickly ran out of. We added it up with far too much macaroon mixture, and then we put it in the oven for 20 minutes. Well, actually, we put it in for 20 minutes. The recipe tells us to put it in for 30 minutes. We put it in for 20 minutes. May I remind you of that? These were the end results after 20 minutes. Can you imagine what would have happened if we'd left it in for half an hour? I dread to think. But, as always, on the Robbie's Kitchen Show, oh, joy, oh joy, joy, joy. Being the cook, I have to have the first taste. I do this for you guys, alright? personal advice, do about gas mark 6, 15 minutes, or gas mark 5 for about 15 minutes, thereabouts, you know. Experiment with the recipe. Okay? So I'll taste it because I made it. That does have that sort of macaroni type taste that I remember from school. The base is nice and crisp. Doesn't taste too burnt. Right, there we go. Not the best results, but they're edible. I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a better luck tomorrow. Take care for now. God bless.